Hey Tack Warehouse fans, Jake here with this week's episode of What's New at TW. We are into mid-December. It is for sure cold out there. If you need to do some last minute holiday shopping, now is the time. Get those orders in before it's way too late. So we got new rod from Phenix, the newest generation of the Ultra MBX series. So these are just a phenomenal, beautiful series of rods. I didn't think they were gonna be able to improve on the last series of Phenix MBXs, but they for sure did. So the blank, starting at the blank, they're using a Toray T40 carbon blank, and they're wrapped with Fuji SIC guides. So just the best of the best materials, crazy lightweight. I mean, you hold these things in your hand, you barely feel anything. Super sensitive graphite in there. If you're dragging jigs along the bottom, or you really need to feel every single thing that your bait is doing, MBX is gonna be the way to go. I got a Texas style keeper here on the back. Down on the grips, my favorite part of these, they kind of use a custom composite series of cork on these, and then down at the bottom, they're just accented with a piece of burled wood. Just absolutely incredible series of rods. Custom carbon reel seat on there, super, super sensitive and lightweight. If you want to check them out, they got spinning, casting, everything you need, you know, a bunch of different actions for kind of any technique. So next up, we got a new reel from Daiwa. So the new Exceller spinning reels, just a super cool spinning reel. When this thing came out here and I grabbed it, if you would tell me it's a $200, $300 spinning reel, for sure would have believed it. We got everything from a 1,000 up to a 6,000. What's cool about this reel is I've seen it over the years, you know, working here for so long. Some of these technologies that have gone into this reel have trickled down from their flagship series of reels, and just over time, you know, all those technologies kind of make it way down to their budget, you know, $100 spinning reels. So it's got their Zion V body on here. The air drive design, which has got their air bail and air rotor, is extremely effortless, and it just, you barely have to put any pressure on this thing to really get it to crank, and it's super lightweight in the hand. It's got a machined aluminum handle on the side, and the cosmetics on this thing, I mean, that is a slick looking reel. It's gonna match up really well with like those Statula Elite series that have that silver, you know, that dark gray kind of silver matte finish to them. Just a super cool reel. If you need a new spinning reel, got a crazy smooth drag system. So if you're running those super light lines and you need that smooth drag, especially fishing with big smallmouth, when they take that surge, you need a smooth drag system that can back it up. But awesome reel, especially for the price. I believe, you know, Daiwa's made some of the best spinning reels out there for the money for a long, long time. This one's no different. So if you're looking for a new spinning reel, Daiwa Exceller. We got in a whole new company of soft plastics actually. So Bass Reaper baits, the first one here is their double tap. Really unique soft stick bait. If it looks familiar, maybe you're a machinist. It's actually built around a tap and die system. So it's kind of got the tap and die ends here. So a double jointed, or like kind of a double-sided stick bait. What's cool about this, you know, it's different than all your other stick baits out there that kind of don't have anything going on the ends. So these ends here are gonna just grab and move a lot more water. So these things are gonna move, and you can run these things weightless. You can run them on a wacky rig. I think it's really gonna excel when you get them on a wacky jig head and get that extra weight to pull this thing down through the water column a little bit faster. Gonna make that thing swim, kick, and just get just a totally different action. The next one here, really cool creature bait. It's called the Changeling. I mean, 6 legs on there. I mean, you're going for maximum action with this bait, but it does have that big body in the middle. So it'll hold whatever size hook you want. You wanna put a 7/0 EWG in there, no problem. Again, pretty much limitless options with this. You can put it on a Texas rig, Carolina rig, Magnum shaky head, run it on, you know, weedless EWG. You could, you know, put it on a wobble head, whatever you want. This is gonna be a really cool bait. It's really gonna move a lot of water. I think it's gonna be great in the summertime, ledge fishing, when you want something that's just gonna really push water and create a lot of commotion. The next one, they're Deadshot. Again, another really cool kind of drop shot minnow style worm. So there's quite a few baits out on the market that have that kind of profile to it. But what's cool about what they did with theirs is they've added this kind of tread pattern up to the top of it. So it's just gonna move and push a lot more water. You know, it's a finesse bait. It's not gonna have a crazy amount of action, but the way it's shaped, when you're pulling through the water, it's just gonna displace and move a lot more water. So super finessey bait, but got some great colors, and it's gonna move a ton of water. And if you're looking for just a, you know, a craw imitation, they got this new coffin craw. So, you know, up on the body, super realistic craw profile. Got the ridges on the back that kind of hold the back of your hook in place really well. And then down on the pinchers, you know, they got a flange on them, and those things are just gonna kick and move and just push a ton of water. You know, they got the fire craw, they've got a bunch of other really cool colors. So you can run it on a swim jig, especially because it's got those kicker legs on there. So you can actually swim this thing through the water column and it'll move a lot of water, and you can run it on your swim jig, put it on a spinnerbait if you want. Or, you flip it, pitch it into cover, throw it on a Carolina rig, do whatever you want to do with it. The next soft plastic here from G-Ratt Baits. So this is their mixer jig trailer. Man, this thing is going to be awesome. So it's built for a vibrating jig, and it's actually got these slots on it for when you want to rig it up on a weedless hook. They actually make a vibrating jig that's got a weedless screw lock style hook on it, and it fits this trailer perfectly. But you can run it on any vibrating jig you want. I think it's also gonna work well if you wanna run it on a vibrating jig without a skirt on it, because they did a lot of work and put a lot of detailing into the body on the sides of it. Just adding those scales and the fins and the kind of detailing around the head with the gill patterns. It's not just a straight body. So if you're running a vibrating jig without a skirt, that's gonna give you that realistic profile on the side. But those tails, 2 big giant tails on the side, big flat tails that are gonna wave and push a lot of water. Most of the trailers that are made for vibrating jigs out there do not have that big of a tail on the back. So this thing's gonna push and move a lot more water, and they've got some super cool colors. So if you need a new trailer for your vibrating jig, check that one out. From Bass Assassin, new baby shad. Just a really small, slimmed down version of their shad. You can run it on a tiny little EWG if you want, fish it like a soft plastic jerkbait or a fluke or something like that, but in a super, super small profile. This is also gonna be really good on a ball head or a drop shot. That long tail on there really makes this thing dart and glide through the water. With how many people are fishing vertical presentations or horizontal presentations for suspended fish using their electronics, this is gonna be a great trailer to add to the arsenal and just have with you when you're doing those types of techniques. Got a jig here from Evergreen. This is something I'm really interested to try out. This is their new I think it's the Stable Jig is the full name of it. It's kind of a hybrid jig. So it's kind of like a Jika rig and a finesse jig kind of paired together. So it does have a weight that kind of hangs off the bottom, and it's all connected here on one ring. So you have an alloy head, a tungsten weight, and a super sharp slick coated, like a Teflon coated offset EWG style hook on there, and a finesse skirt. So really cool. With that alloy head, since you have an alloy head that's a lighter weight material and that tungsten weight on the bottom, it kind of keeps the positioning correct. And this thing slips in and out of cover super well. You can pair it up with whatever kind of plastic you want, and you kind of have a finesse jig that can slip in and out of cover wherever you want. And since you're going to be running it on like an offset EWG, but allow you to get into brush and weeds and stuff that you could really never get a jig in without getting snagged. Maybe some lighter sparse cover, but this is for sure going to get you into that kind of next level of cover, but still in a small, finesse style package. All right, from Rapala, they have the new Rip Blade bait. Not just going to be great for ice fishing, but also, again, the forward-facing guys. So it's like a hybrid blade bait and a lipless crankbait kind of molded into one. Now, since it is a super thin piece of metal in the middle, and you kind of have a plastic body on the outside, it's not as heavy as your standard blade bait that might weigh 3/4 or an ounce, ounce and a half. It only comes in around a ½ ounce, so it's a little bit lighter weight, so it's not gonna just sink like a rock. So you can actually run this through the middle of the water column a little bit slower, a little bit more efficiently than some of the heavier blade baits. And then just the profile that they've done with this one, it looks way more realistic than some of the other blade baits out there on the market. So you're just getting a more 3D finish than you would with a blade bait that just has like a molded piece of lead on the bottom. And they've got some really cool colors, 3 different position line ties, premium trebles, just something you can try vertical or horizontal. This one, for sure, a vertical jigging bait, the new Jigging Wrap Magnum. If you've ever used, Rapala's jigging series of baits, these things are fish catchers, really geared towards ice fishing, but I grew up fishing these a ton in the wintertime, jigging on the lakes in California. They don't freeze over, but the fish will suspend in 70, 80 feet of, 80 feet down over 300 feet of water, super hard to catch. And this is how we catch them on these vertical jigging baits. Now you have something with a bigger profile and a little bit heavier weight. So just gonna get down there quicker, and that bigger profile just gonna present a bigger meal. VMC jig hook on the back and VMC treble on the bottom that's actually connected to a swivel. So when you got one hooked up on that treble, it's harder for them to turn and get leverage on that bait and shake it free. These baits are super cool. So when it sinks, it'll spiral on the way down, and then when you jig it, they snap in unpredictable directions. If you ever snapped one of these things just under the surface to see what it does, they are super cool looking baits, and they've got some crazy good finishes on this new series. Super realistic, kind of got these printed finishes that really mimic shad and all types of, a bunch of different bait fish. this guy right here from Googan Squad. We have the new walking topwater bait. It has a pretty unique shape for a topwater walking bait. So it's kind of ridged up here on the top. So it has this wider base to it, and it makes it super easy to walk. So, you know, if you're a beginner angler or seasoned angler, it doesn't matter. This is just a bait that's just gonna be a lot easier to walk than some of the other walking baits on the market. So, I mean, super effortless. And then it has that loud one knocker in it. So, I mean, super loud. It's got that weight actually transfers down to the tail. So it flies like a bullet. So you're gonna get phenomenal casting distance with it. And then you got 3 trebles on there. Always love having a topwater that's got 3 trebles on it, just, you know, dramatically increasing your odds of hooking those fish that come up and slap at the bait, especially schooling fish. When, you know, you have to make that super long cast just to get to them, and they're going crazy and they're coming up and slapping at the bait, just gonna give you much higher odds of hooking that fish. And a bunch of their colors, you know, not this one, but a bunch of their colors will have a brighter color finish on the fin. So high vis fin on the top, so you can actually see that bait on those super long casts in low light conditions. You'll be able to see it walk and a little bit easier to get the cadence, but they've got some phenomenal colors. Now, if you're looking to get your boat touched up, you know, maybe it's stuck in the garage all winter, what better time to kind of, you know, get that thing ready for the upcoming spring season. So we got a couple you know, boating accessories, you know, treatments for getting your boat cleaned up. So from Hog Industries, we have the Hog Dressing and Hog Shine. If you're doing gel coats, vinyl, the dashboard, your tires, anything on your trailer or the boat that you want to get cleaned up and shine and get ready to go, we have the Hog Dressing and the Hog Shine from Hog Industries. Now last and definitely not least, you've probably been looking at this thing sitting here on the table. So we did another custom color of the Baitsanity Chimera Shad with Garrett Custom. So this color is the stuffer trout. So if you have a swim bait angler in your life and you need a stocking stuffer, this is gonna be a great gift. Just like the last, like the Halloween, the zombie shad that we did, there's gonna be a limited amount of these baits and they will go live on the 18th at 12 o'clock Pacific time. And so once the batch is sold out, they're gone forever. So a limited run of baits. If you want to get your hands on this color trout bait and the Baitsanity Chimera Shad, you want to be on the website when those go live and get them while you can, because they will not last long, just like the zombie shad. So phenomenal job on this trout pattern that Garrett did for us. If you look at all the detailing on it, you know, it looks just like a live trout when you get it in light with the green and the pinks, all the transitions, a silver flake in there. Just a phenomenal color if you want to get a limited run of the Baitsanity Chimera Shad. That's going to wrap up today's episode of What's New at Tackle Warehouse. For more information or to purchase any of these products seen here today, click shop or the link in the description below. If you enjoyed this week's video, hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, or let us know in the comments which one of these products you're most pumped about.